I should be able to hear you now.
Chris, hey, how are you? Yeah,
I'm doing incredible. How about you?
good, good. I'm sorry, I didn't realize we called you out on Family Day. I would
No,
have scheduled it for Tuesday.
no, not a problem. It's all good. It's all good. How are things in your neck of the woods?
They're good, Chris. They're good. They're good.
Well, I took a look at your application, and some told me you discussed a little bit, I think, over email, but it looks like you booked with us about possibly getting some outside help with generating leads for the consulting business.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to your firm. Like, you guys have a lot of material online, and that's great. But I did want to talk about how to look at keeping a pipeline full of clients. Just to give you a bit of background, I've been consulting for a number of years. I left to go work for myself. I had a small manufacturing company, went back into consulting about 3 or 4 years ago. Now, I've been getting most of my leads through other consulting firms, namely from the US, and they kept me busy for a good 2 years of work. They do have other projects coming up, but they've been delayed, and I'm kind of concerned that I need to start looking at marketing more of myself, so that I'm not at the mercy of their work, where I'm waiting for them now. And that's really what I'm looking for: is how should I market? I mean, I've been trying for the last 2 or 3 months to contact clients, doing a bit of cold calling, warm calling, using LinkedIn, but it really hasn't translated to anything at this moment. So I want to know more about what you guys offer to see, if there's a fit, if this is exactly what you're offering is what I need, and maybe to get some sort of perspective from your end on maybe I'm missing something because I'm too close to it. But what comes right down to it is, I know my where I want to focus. I know what I want to offer. I know all of that. What I wanted to do is, how do I no longer become or at the mercy of other firms and generate my own leads in the area that I want to focus on?
Right. And just so I'm clear, when it comes to third parties sending you leads, like do they have a say on your rates, or do they?
Yes. No, they have. It's their materials. They have a say in the rate that they pay me. I know what I'm billed out at, and they in turn pay me a certain daily fee. By the way, before I say this, I want to focus my business in Southern Ontario.
Okay.
That's where I'm in Toronto. They have a lot of work in the States. I promised my family that I wouldn't want to travel as much. I'm 62 years old. Became a grandfather over the summer. And I want to stay. Oh, thank you. And I want to stay close to Southern Ontario, where I'm close to my family. They do have a lot of work in the States. They've begged me to go to the States. They do have some projects up here. Some have been delayed. Some are going to come to fruition. So that's why I'm looking at, from my perspective, where I can go out under my own name, my own rates, secure work. I'm not going to say no to them, but what I'm going to do is make sure that I have other options. And so that's where I'm at right now.
You want to be independent because you have a ceiling. You have a ceiling with your rates, and essentially you cannot maximize. I'm not trying to put any labels, right? But
no.
Like, we're not. You have opportunity to put it that way when it comes to charging more premium, because you're not gonna be giving a commission. If I may ask, would you be open? Because I'd love to find out Lean Sigma 6, I saw from the application as well, but do you have to be in person to deliver your service?
Do I have to be the person delivering?
Do you have to go in person to deliver, the services?
Yes, Yes, yes. I got to deliver in person. So under their umbrella, they look at me as a Lean Six Sigma specialist analyst.
Yeah.
And I have to now in the States, I haven't gone. They've had jobs in the GTA, General Toronto area, but they've also had a few jobs outside of Toronto, still in Southern Ontario. But I would have to go there for a week at a time, and I would do that, say, for 10 weeks, where I'm going back and forth weekly.
Yeah. The only reason I'm asking is because in similar situations, we've had consultants who have started offering their services virtually also because they didn't want, no one wants to go necessarily in person. So
absolutely, the recent contract I did for them, 50% was on site, 50% was virtually. Now I must say, the first 10 weeks were all on site.
Mhm.
The last 2 weeks were like aftercare service after we had done the program. 50% of that was virtually. So a lot of the virtual, the virtual was only after the aftercare where they already were trained, the program was implemented. So if they had any questions, we would have meetings and have discussions from that point of view.
Yeah.
But but depending on the client, the type of consulting that I do, it's not just lean, but it's daily management systems.
Mhm.
A combination of the different aspects of huddles, visual boards, Gamba walks, and things of that nature that you're doing on site. Because I also coach and I'm mentoring the various managers, supervisors as they're doing that. So part of my role is not only help design the program, but it's also the implementation of the program. And part of that implementation is developing the implementation team, working with a site champion, and then helping them train and mentor and coach the various supervisors so they get the routines on a regular process.
Right now, how are they making you charge? Like, is it project based? Is it hourly?
So they'll call me up and they'll say we have a project. It's 30-week project. I may not have been involved in the initial evaluation. They'll do that, and they're paying my daily rate's $900 American a day.
Yeah.
Okay, 900. I'm billed out without needing the company close to $2,200 American a day. That's what they bill me out. Okay.
Yeah. So there's opportunity for you just for if you get.
Of course.
And now we're not talking about even value-based fees, which is a different ballgame, which we typically advise clients, and I feel it would be opportunity for you based on your years of experience. But just with your current rates, you can get business and double your rates right away.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Just from that.
Yeah. I mean, to go at $1,600 Canadian, because the 900 is about $1,200 Canadian was the conversion rate. But to go at 1,600 to 1,800, I'm still well below their rates or some of the other bigger consulting firms, and that's a very, very comfortable, really, really good living. But yeah, I'm leaving $300 to $500 a day on the table.
Yeah.
Without working for myself.
Okay, so there's opportunity. Okay, so if besides kind of like attracting business on your own and potential opportunities when it comes to pricing, what would you be looking for out of external support? Like from, do you have any ideal criteria?
So what I would probably look at is so going through some of the stuff that you guys have online. My business model is that of a sole consultant and collaborating with other consulting firms. But my niche market is lean daily management system in conjunction with continuous improvements. What I was looking for is the marketing strategy, the marketing engine, promotion. How do I get people to say yes, come in.
Right.
I do have some sort of magnetic strategy message that I'm
Mhm.
using. Um, but the question is, how do I get companies to notice me, or how do I target them? I do know the industries I want to work in. I do know the geographical area I want to work in. The area that I want to work in has a lot of potential clients. The question is, how do I get them to say, yes, you got a great product or a great service, um, and how do we go from there? That's what I'm looking for is the marketing.
Yeah.
How do I generate the marketing opportunities?
And if
Do I?
we,
Yeah.
oh, please, please.
So, I mean, uh, I I've tried, just so you know what I've tried before. So
Yeah.
obviously, one of the biggest things is on LinkedIn. I look for the type of clients that that I consider would be really good targets. I'll send them a note introducing, and then we connect. Now, depending on how they respond to the connection, I always put a note to it. If they respond back, hey, thanks for the connection, blah blah blah, then I consider there's okay, we've got some sort of they responded. Then I start to send out, hey, this is what I do. Um, and what I'm trying to do is not sell them. I'm
Sure.
not. What I'm trying to do is get them. And again, this is my approach, and I don't know if it's right or if it's wrong. I'm not trying to sell them, but I'm trying to establish a connection where I'm saying, hey, would love to give you an educational, a 15-minute, 20-minute educational aspect of the lean daily management system.
Yeah.
Instead of, I leave the continuous improvement as my next phase. Are you familiar with daily management systems?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm not a pro by any means. I just know them because I've been around them.
Fine, perfect. So one of the industries I'm looking for is the food manufacturing and food processing.
Yeah.
That is one of the last industries that has actually looked at more formalized management.
Hmm.
They're big on food safety because they're legislated.
Right.
They're big on food safety because most of their customers demand it. But where they really lack is they work in a very confused, high waste, adversarial environment.
Right.
So my approach was we can make more profits by eliminating the waste. And one of the ways that you need to eliminate the waste is to establish standard operating procedures, visual aids, better communication, two-way communication, engagement, and all that kind of stuff. And do your gamble walks to look for opportunities for coaching and improvement of your staff. So I wanted to go in that direction. The question is, how do I get something like that out to someone to say, yeah, that sounds like something we could use?
Yeah.
And I was wondering, this was in my mind, so I'm working by myself. And I'm thinking about, well, looking at your materials, and the one thing that stood out to me was the marketing engine and the promotion and getting some serious clients. I agree with what you guys are saying that you don't need to get them all. You need to get a few really, really good clients.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm looking for your help.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I appreciate the clarity. And so food, and if we were able to help with the marketing engine, magnetic messaging to make sure we get the right people to raise their hand, what success look like in 12 months from now, maybe in terms of revenue or how you want the business to look like?
So my success, and I'm starting small, is sustainability. Sustainability where I am not relying on the other clients. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to say no to them, but I probably will be more choosy depending on the length of the project.
It's about optionality, right?
Right?
It's about optionality.
Right. So I want to be able to have the flexibility. I want to have the security that I've learned or I am practicing a methodology that allows me to keep clients or maintain a flow of clients coming in. That's what I'm looking for. So I'm not going to put a dollar price on it. I would, sure, I would like to say, yeah, I'd like to be consistently at 200 grand a year,
Yeah.
as argument's sake.
USD.
Pardon?
USD.
Well, Canadian, even Canadian. Let's say Canadian.
Okay. Canadian. Where do we typically end up with your current relationships and rates? Where do you typically end up on an average year?
Well, last year, I did about 250,000,
Mhm.
but it was mostly with them because they
Yeah.
kept me busy all year. Now, the jobs have been delayed. It's been a couple of months now,
Yeah.
and I'm saying, I've never been this much time off between one job and the next job. Usually it's a couple of weeks, which is fine, but it's been months now. So, the way things are looking at this year are going to be probably half of that, 125, depending on what happens later on.
Yeah.
So I want to maintain that 200,000 minimum ceiling for me. That gives me the flexibility. Now, if I'm able to charge $1,600 a day, then I don't have to put in 20, 22 days a month. I can put in 15 days a month and leave me at least 5 days a month for ongoing marketing.
Right.
Because one of the things I've learned is that I can't be working because I'm a sole independent consultant, that I can't be working Monday to Friday and not have any time for any future marketing. I
Yeah.
noticed that can't happen. So if I'm working 3 days or 3 to 4 days a week, that to me is great to allow me. And I'm not saying that's perfect because we should be doing marketing on a regular basis, but doing it weekly allows me to still maintain some initiatives and keep things in the pipeline.
What I will say is if you can, like the way we set up our clients and what we say as a non-negotiable is if we can put in one strategic hour a day on our prospecting, like we'll get to where we want to go. That's what we want to say.
Fine.
And it's sustain that. Yeah.
I'm good with that. I'm good to make the one call a day because I do have time that I can peel away and make that call in a private area. Whether I'm working from home or whether I'm working at the client's site, that's not an issue.
It doesn't have to be even call. It's one strategic hour spent on deliberate activities set by the coach. Like if we can honor that hour, like we're making progress.
Okay.
So what I'm understanding is like you're on track to do maybe 100K, 125. If we can make an equal amount, but with our own prospecting efforts, we're on a good trajectory here because you can.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. No, it makes sense. And may I ask, because it's good to map out, you're a consultant, you understand, like it's good to map out targets. It's good to look at, what happens if we don't necessarily hit those targets, like to wrestle with failure to avoid it, right? Charlie Munger said, like, show me where I'll die so I never go there.
Yeah.
That he saw. So I guess for you, have you considered what happens if you don't make a change and you still have to rely on these guys, third party, to get the business in the next, 6, 12, 24 months?
If I had to rely on them, you mean if we don't get anything else?
Yeah.
If I don't do anything, I think that's not an option for me right now. I don't think that I can be stuck in that situation where I'm waiting for others to bring me work. I think I need to take control of that, need to have an effort put in place or a strategy where I am in control of that. I'm being held hostage in the sense that I have to wait for them to say, hey, we have something for you in the area you want to work. What I want to say is, no, I don't want to wait for that. I want to be able to physically get it. I don't think it's an option where I'm only waiting for them. I mean, what is not even an option for me is even if I wanted to go apply for a regular job, if I wanted to say, because they'll look at my age and say, well, they'll discriminate me just based on my age. They'll say, hey, this guy is too old. Now, even if I did go get a job on a project basis, hey, we only need you for 6 months. Well, then I'm back doing the same thing again. So my goal, and I hope I'm answering that correctly. Maybe I don't know if you got the right answer. My goal is to become self-sufficient, and if I have to wait for them, then it becomes an issue. I'd rather have the ability to locate and work with some clients. I do have other consulting firms that I could peel some of their people, because I have collaborated with other firms up here that they've always said, if you have something that you need help on, they're smaller, they're firms, they're consulting firms, they're not independent, but they're not huge. So they have like 4 or 5 or 6 other consultants that I've worked with. And I met them working for the US client on projects up here in the GTA area.
Right.
So I've worked with them before.
But you still don't want to rely on them if you do.
I don't want to rely on the guy from the US to say, we got work for you.
Well,
I want to be in a position to say, I got a client, and I can go to an associate client, a consulting firm, say, I need 1 or 2 of your people on this project that I'm working on, and this is what I'm going to pay them, and knowing that I'm going to make some money off of them as well.
yeah. No, I mean, it sounds like this is right up our alley. Like you're just like about 6 out of 10 of the clients that we're working with. Like you have deep expertise within your area, within your niche where you've carved out for yourself.
Yeah.
It's just that you need small marketing levers and growth levers, so you don't have to rely on third party. Build your own nice little business. That's your lifestyle essentially. So you don't have to travel spend time with the grind.
Yeah. Well, like I said, if there's a project in the GT in Southern Ontario where I have to travel, drive there Monday morning, come back Thursday afternoon, then I could live with that.
Right.
But to give an example, if I wanted to go to the States, it's coming back every second week, and you're only home for a day and a half, and then you're flying out again. And I don't want to do that for 6 months.
Yeah.
When I was younger and I was consulting, I was away from my family a lot because I was doing a lot of work in the States. I promised my wife that I would not do that kind of traveling again. I don't think I need to, because there's certainly a lot of opportunities in the GTA area. And for that matter, if I had to go into other parts of Canada where you're flying maybe for a week or a couple of days and you're coming back, I would look at that. But the other aspect is industrial companies. My background as a mechanical engineer, I've worked a lot of companies in the automotive, plastics, so a lot of different industries. So my area would be industrial and the food and beverage industry. But I see the food and beverage industry as being the one, other than construction. Those are some of the last 2 industries that have any real good management systems in place.
It sounds like, and especially if we'll start looking at value-based fees when you set your own prices, it sounds like food and beverage would be right up like your sweet spot where you can double down position as a trusted expert. But yeah, I mean, with your permission, what I can do is I can walk you through the model, give you maybe some deeper insight, and see if we can help you.
And Chris, would you be the one to kind of figure out what this thing would cost me, or is that something that would do?
No. I'll walk you through all the details right now.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. All right.
Okay. Let me share my screen here with you. But essentially, the framework, how it works. We start, you're clear on your ideal clients, but under that 300K mark, we want to go uncomfortably narrow. Even if we choose and say, okay, we're doubling down on food and beverage, we still go through a discovery process with the coach to agree on specific exact criteria on who we're working with, what offers do we put in front of them, and how do we predictably have them enter our zone of influence. So at the end, we're feeling very clear and confident on even that strategic hour that we spend, we're very focused with our work and efficient. Then we move into our magnetic message, and we want a message that not just about attention, but someone who's interested to start working now. It's what we call a bleeding neck problem that needs to get solved. And that comes from being able to reveal our value proposition in a very compelling way from our website, our LinkedIn messaging, while we tell them on the phone. We want to make sure we're generating consistent conversations with the right people, and that happens also by pushing away the wrong people. We want our messaging to do that, so you're not wasting your time talking with the wrong prospects. The last thing we want at your level of experience is to have, instead of having one boss, have like 5 bosses in the form of clients. With me so far?
Got it.
Then we move into what we call consulting business optimization, and we have the strategic 3 Ps. This is positioning in the marketplace, pricing, and proposals. 70% of our clients that come to us undercharge for their services because they're not packaged in a value-based way, looking at the outcomes that we're creating for them and taking a piece out of those outcomes. That's how we're able to double up to quadruple our client fees. This leads into a value-based sales process. We don't want to knock doors down or beg or plead for new business. We want to build real connections and relationships, and that's where this translates into the marketing engine. So we want to have predictability in our pipeline so we can become the pickers of business. And that happens by building our authority in the narrow niche we've carved out for ourselves, and over time install automation. We want our marketing to be working for us. We're not working in the business, so we can start working over the business, on the business. In our zone of genius, maximizing the opportunity in our expertise from our years in the trenches. That summarizes the idea of how the model works. We touched on quite a few things, but what resonates most with you?
First of all, I like the methodology. I think it looks great. I like the fact that you're making no assumptions about some of the stuff that we talked about. But if I had to look at what resonates with me, I think it's the optimization, the marketing engine.
Yeah.
I think with the ideal client, I feel we have a good understanding there of what that client looks like.
Right.
The magnetic messaging, in a nutshell, the way I want to sell it is that we're making profits. I have to use that language because a lot of these guys, a lot of these people that we'll be dealing with, board of directors or presidents, if you go and say, we're going to do continuous improvements, we're going to do value stream mapping, or we're going to do these things, it's not going to resonate with them. So one of the things
over their head. Yeah.
It'll go over their head, and they'll say, "Oh, you know what? I got to make money." That's their language.
Right.
The decision makers' language is, "I got to make money. Why do I need to hire you?" So the magnetic message is, yeah, and I agree that you would help me. So the ones that I believe would resonates with me is the optimization and the marketing engine. You can't do the marketing engine without really good optimization first.
Yeah.
The way I see it there. The value packaging, value-based sales process, I like that a lot. The only thing there is that you have to make sure you have a client that you could trust. That is not going to be playing games when they talk about the actual value received or realized within their operation. And I'm sure you guys will cover that aspect of it.
Here's the thing.
But
like I said, yeah,
they think, I don't want to cut you off.
go ahead.
That here's the thing, the mistake a lot of consultants are making is they think they have a treasure chest of value over here and they have to give it to them. The big idea is that the value will come from them. So the value-based sales process is helping them see the gaps and realizing what they're missing out. Once they realize they're missing out, it's very hard for them not to move forward because they clearly see the gaps, and you're the one who's pointing in those gaps.
Correct. Right. For sure.
So
those two.
Yeah. So this is what we work on. Now, how we help you implement is through the Clarity Coaching. So how this works, it's 12 weeks, and day one you get assigned.
Can I make notes on this if you don't?
Please. And if I'm going too fast, slow me down.
No, just for you. Hold on.
Yeah, it's 12 weeks. And day one, you get assigned a clarity coach.
Okay.
This is a coach. It's not just a coach that we trained, it's an active consultant in the trenches, but we pair you up with someone who's as close to your background as possible to help you
Nice.
the journey. So you go through a deep dive first day, set goals. We need to get to 200, 250. What needs to happen for us to get there? From a marketing engine, from magnetic messaging, from offers and optimization. Then you move into one-on-one calls with your clarity coach. For the first 4 weeks, these are weekly. So you go through a nice sprint together, working on your challenges, and then it moves on for the next 8 weeks, once call every 2 weeks. So you still have the ongoing one-on-one support. So we have constant improvements. You also have, these are weekly calls with in the group setting. So you're able to interact with, ask questions, but you're also part of a group of consultants all building together. So you can exchange best practices. Some people even partner up on projects together. A lot of clients find value in the coaching forum. So this is where you enter your next conversation, your next negotiation, or you're putting together your magnetic messaging. Post in the forum, get eyes on it like day to day. So we're not failing forward, but we're moving fast. You're receiving feedback along every step. And the last piece is the video portal. This is where you have done for you elements. So playbooks, templates for messaging, scripts for your conversations, for your proposals, filling the boxes, templates. Now, because there's a lot of material, what we ask is the coach will put together the roadmap for you, follow his recipe, so we're very directed with our efforts. We're not wasting time.
Okay.
That summarizes the plan. Any questions based on what I covered here?
No, it's good.
Do you feel with this structure, like this can get you to 250K, so and make the progress you want to make?
With the roadmap based on the previous slide, plus this ongoing mentoring, course correction, two-way. Yes, I think that's very. I think you probably do more than 250. I'm pretty sure we'll do more. But
may I ask why you feel that way? Like
why? What?
Yeah, may I ask why you feel that way? Like why you feel it would?
Why do I feel that it would?
Yeah.
I'm a process-minded person. So you have the previous one, which is the roadmap. So it lays out a methodology, lays out the key deliverables, the aspect of it, and I like you said, it made sense to me. What I like about this phase, the coaching phase, is the feedback is instant. If you've done something, you've tried something, you got potentially a negative result, you can discuss it with your clarity coach to do course correction. You could modify. So this is having someone and yourself be in a position where you are doing, and again, I use course correction because this is a very, very similar approach I do when I'm implementing the various routines with my clients, is that the one-on-one conversation, you're providing knowledge, you're providing information, you're getting the feedback, you're understanding where they are. So I will be able to provide the feedback and say, hey, I'm struggling in this particular area, I'm struggling in that particular area. Before it becomes a much bigger problem, you're able to you're instantaneously communicating it.
Right.
And then you're making corrections to the path you're taking. So the idea is not to take go in a direction for an extended period of time, only to find out that, hey, I should be here and I'm over there. What this does keeps me, you're got to be here, so you're constantly correcting to get there. So that's what I like about it.
Right.
It's one thing to provide knowledge. It's another thing to help create, and the other thing too that I find, this will help create ongoing behavior or routines that even when you're finished with your program, those routines stay with you.
Yep.
And then you're constantly practicing those routines. So why this is important, for a better word, you're breaking one set of habits, you got to go to so there's maybe certain habits that I'm using, say, no, we're going to break those habits, we're going to create new habits, but the time to break and to make sure that these new habits are established, you need to do something like this.
Yep, 100%, 100%. It will be like the habits thing. It is a game changer for sure. So it's like we found what you were looking for overall. This is what I had for you when it comes to the structure. What I didn't unpack is the investment required, so we can make the changes. Would you like me to walk you through how that works?
Yeah, let me know how that works.